All right, everybody, welcome. It's Friday, 4 o'clock, and it's time for the Assisting Hands Friday finish. I'm going to share my screen here so we can get going. This is always the part I have trouble making transitions on. Let me get this going. And here we go. All right, welcome. It's Friday. I'm so glad it's Friday. I'm Eric Rohr. I'm the owner of Assisting Hands Serving Richmond, and we're here to talk about what happened this week. Assisting Hands Richmond is a home care agency serving the greater Richmond area. We go all the way south to Petersburg. We go out east past the airport to Providence Forge, up past Ashland to the north, and way out in Goochland, Powhatan, kind of out to the east. We provide home care, non-medical support wherever you call home, be it your traditional home, assisted living, independent living, skilled nursing, wherever you consider your home. We'll come and help you with activities of daily living, bathing, grooming, toileting, transferring, cooking, cleaning, and everything you need to stay happy and at home. We also specialize in dementia. I'll mention something about that here in a second. And let's get into the week. So I think, as you all know, we started off the week with Sunday snow, and we had lots of trouble with people getting around, but we had lots of our caregivers are so dedicated to their clients. They made sure they called and got the Assisting Hands Uber driver, me, to kind of come get them and deliver them where they needed to go. And I actually shoveled a few walks as well for some of our clients so they could be safe in getting out to their mailboxes and the like. So snow day equals a go to work day, not like the snow days I remember as a child. The other thing I thought was really great, Crater Community Hospice has been doing these coffee chats, and they stopped doing them for a little bit while with COVID, but they did a virtual coffee chat this past Thursday. Zach Holt, who is the new CEO, he came on board in August. I met with him several times. He's a great guy. He led the conversation, and it was really very informative about dispelling some of the myths around hospice and kind of understanding hospice. And it was just a very good open forum. So I look forward to them continuing those coffee chats and especially getting to know Zach even more. What else we got going on here? Oh, yes, one of my favorite part. We have our STAR program here at Assisting Hands, setting targets, achieving results, STAR, for our caregivers. And we call all of our caregivers our STAR caregivers. And we have some cash incentives that we provide to them. And so this last pay period, we had 2 of our caregivers get off to their great start, which is their first 100 hours. And they received a cash bonus for just doing the right things, showing up on time, clocking in and clocking out, doing good care notes, the like. And then we had 1 shining star, and that's somebody who, after the great start, for consecutive, every 250 hours, they do consecutively where they do these same great things, they get another higher bonus, and then they can earn that several times. And I think Deandra is probably on her 3rd or 4th Shining Star bonus. She's just an awesome, consistent caregiver. So anyway, I love talking about our STAR caregivers and all they've accomplished. Next Thursday, the 11th, we're hosting the 7th in our dementia workshops that we've been doing virtually once a month. That's led by Kathy Hamlin, who's our executive administrator, who's a certified Positive Approach to Care dementia coach. That in Positive Approach to Care is the Teepa Snow organization. This one's on the positive physical approach and hand under hand. And so these are some very specific methods you can use when you're dealing or caring for someone who's living with dementia, on how to approach them, how to communicate with them, using physical cues, verbal cues, and just to kind of help heighten that communication with that person living with dementia. So you must register via Zoom to attend. It's no cost. If you have any interest, reach out to me or check out our Facebook page or LinkedIn page. I got all the registration links all over the place. So anyway, that brings us on to our shout out of the week. And so without any further ado, I want to introduce Courtney with GeroPartners. So Courtney, welcome, and welcome to Friday Finish.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, great. Well, good. And so just a quick introduction to Courtney here before we kind of get into talking about her and her business is I met Courtney at the Chesterfield Council on Aging, one of the meetings. The council is very active in Chesterfield County, and they were going around, they were talking about different committees, and Courtney headed up the caregiving committee. And so she had been kind of raised her hand so people knew who she was. And so it was one of my first meetings and I was looking to get involved. So I went up to her and started talking to her about the committee, and I thought it was a good fit. And, you know, so from there, I just got to know her. She has done a great job with the committee and just really gotten to know her and kind of all the things she has done. So welcome, Courtney, and glad to have you here. So let's just kind of jump into it. And so you're the co-founder of GeroPartners. Kind of why did you start this business? And kind of what was the catalyst for that?
Yeah, so I am a co-founder. My partner in the practice is Dr. Andrew Heck. He's a geropsychologist, and we had been working in the mental health system, the state mental health system, in geriatrics for many years, and saw quite a few areas where there were needs for additional services for older adults and their family members and family caregivers in our area, and came up with a vision of how we thought we, with our particular backgrounds and expertise, could try to address some of those needs. And so GeroPartners was what came out of that.
Yeah. So you mentioned your partner's a doctor. Now you have a lot of letters after your name. So maybe talk about what your background is and what those letters mean.
Sure. So LCSW stands for Licensed Clinical Social Worker. So that means I am licensed to practice independently in the state of Virginia as a social worker. And that other big long one, jumble of letters there, stands for Certified Advanced Social Work Case Manager. And so that is a certification that I obtained through the National Association of Social Workers, that kind of establishes my credentials as a case manager based on my years of experience in my education.
Great. Yep. Very impressive. Okay. So why don't we talk a little bit about kind of the services that you all provide specifically. And I have a graphic here that may help everybody kind of follow along.
Yeah. And that is, I'm so glad that you pulled that particular graphic from our website, because that is a really great way to describe one of our primary service lines at GeroPartners. So one of the things that we do is care management, geriatric care management. My primary focus in our practice. And a care manager is someone who works with families and aging individuals to essentially create a roadmap to help identify those areas in one's life where maybe they could use some help or maybe need some guidance on how to move forward. And the graphic there that you have, those are the 8 core areas that a geriatric care manager has knowledge and experience with. And so when I'm working with a family, oftentimes we start with a really comprehensive assessment that looks at many of the items on that circle. You know, we look at health and functioning. We look at the family structure and social needs. We look at the finances and making sure the right legal documents are in place for decision making. We help look at housing and good fit with that environment. And so we take all of that information and we can make really targeted, tailored recommendations to help that family move forward. and navigate whatever changes or challenges they might be experiencing. And then on an ongoing basis, we can help with following through on those recommendations or helping in a crisis, or pointing them in the direction of local resources and advocating for their needs. So that's kind of the care management in a nutshell. The other important services that GeroPartners provides is outpatient counseling for older adults and their caregivers. So as an LCSW, that's one of the things that I do. We have an outpatient office in Midlothian where we were providing those counseling services before COVID happened. And now all of those are virtual, they're online through telehealth. And Dr. Heck provides cognitive evaluations in our office. So if a doctor or a family member or even an individual is seeing changes in their memory or thinking or even, you know, just some odd behaviors that make you concerned that something might be going on, Dr. Heck is able to sit down with that individual and through an interview and some paper and pencil tests, help that person determine what might be causing those changes and make some treatment recommendations for moving forward to address those.
Does that include maybe diagnosis around dementia?
Exactly. That's exactly what those types of evaluations are often trying to diagnose.
And I'm sure that you guys obviously have the expertise to kind of know what is normal aging and what is more dementia related, because I think that we all are aware that, you know, all memory lapses are not dementia,
Yes.
right? And so we want to make sure we don't get someone labeled unnecessarily.
Yes, you're exactly right, Eric. And one of the things that I find really valuable about the evaluations that Dr. Heck does and the feedback that he shares with families is that oftentimes issues like depression or anxiety can make us not think as clearly and make our memory not work as well as it normally would. And sometimes what can look like dementia is actually a depression. And depression is very treatable. So it's so important to really try to get to the bottom of what might be causing these changes, because like you said, we don't want to unnecessarily label someone with or diagnose a dementia process if that's not what's happening.
Right. Well, this is great. I mean, I will say, you know, it's very impressive. And I feel like, you know, even though I'm in the industry, and especially, you know, I'm providing home care, I just understand and have an expertise in a sliver of it. But, and I can tell you through my own family kind of process with my sister and some other things, we didn't know where to go. And you're right. It's all these 8 elements are usually present. Some of them are more kind of prevalent in a situation, and, you know, others are less significant, but they're all there. And it's hard because if you're going to 8 different places to get advice, it's hard to cobble it together. And so I think that, you know, your service, you and your partner, it's great to have that in one place, because then you know all those pieces, and it's almost like medication in a way. You got to know how each one affects the other one, because each on their own, the solution may be fine, but together they may not work together. And so I think comprehensive is a word that came to my mind as I've learned more and seen this, that you guys provide that comprehensive view that a lot of people, and not maybe no other place really provides.
We want to be able to see the big picture and make sure we're addressing all of the aspects of that person to make sure they have the best quality of life. Yeah, definitely.
Anything else on the service side that you want to dive into before we move on?
No, I think that covers it. Yeah.
Pretty good. So, you know, that then kind of brings to me is like, what would an initial consultation look like? I mean, there's a lot there. What should people expect? What should they become prepared kind of to do in an initial consultation?
That's a really good question. So often what happens is, and it's often a family caregiver, maybe an adult child, a son or a daughter, will get referred to us, and somebody will say, well, I think you need to talk with GeroPartners. They might be able to help. And so oftentimes it's really hard to know exactly what we need. We don't always know what we don't know. And so typically what will happen is we get a call from a family member, and especially from a care management perspective, I usually take that call and spend a lot of time with the person, really trying to get a good understanding of what they're seeing, what's been happening, what has led them to be concerned. And then once I have an understanding of that and kind of a little bit of a picture of what they're going through, then I will give them some suggestions about where I think might be the best place to go next. So that might be recommending that comprehensive assessment, so we can really get a much stronger handle on where things are and start putting some plans in place. Sometimes it might be that, it might be helpful for that person to start maybe with some counseling, and maybe they're just looking for that one-on-one kind of support. And so we'll get them lined up with that service. But really that initial consultation is a pretty in-depth conversation about what the needs are and how we might be able to help.
Right. That's good. Well, I can tell you that, I think, and just knowing you from, my professional networking and just when I approached you for the first time, is I was very impressed with, you're a listener. I knew immediately you're a listener. You wanted to kind of hear what I had to say. You wanted to hear kind of what I was looking for. And I think that has to be probably what makes you really successful. But I would think that has to be a critical component to what you're doing. And from that, it sounds like you need to listen to what people are saying in order to provide whatever advice that you could give. So anyway.
Yeah.
Well, good. So I will say, so as a thank you note, I've written you a little recommendation on Facebook. And so, you can see I put that in there. It's that, there's a comprehensive, kind of thoughtful, compassionate approach. And I think those are all really, really good words to describe you guys. And so I would encourage anybody listening that has any questions to reach out to you guys and see if there's some way that Courtney could help you all out. And so let me put up on the screen, here's the contact information if you want to get a hold of Courtney. Call, email, and then they have a great website with everything on there. Anything else that you'd like to share with everybody before we say goodbye?
Well, I would love to say that, if it turns out that what we provide is not a good fit, it's always really important to me that I help you figure out what is going to be the most helpful resource. And so please don't hesitate to call if you think that it would be helpful just to brainstorm a little bit and figure out, where would be a good place to start. If it's not GeroPartners, it might be somewhere else, and I would love to help connect you with the right resource. And then lastly, I just really so appreciate the opportunity to talk with you today. It's really been fun.
That's good. Yeah, no, I love this. I love bringing kind of lots of interesting people with really useful services to, anybody who's willing to watch. So thank you so much. Have a great weekend. Hopefully it doesn't snow too much this Sunday, but I have a feeling I might be driving some people around. So if you need a ride anywhere, let me know and I'll come get you out of the snow. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Courtney. Have a great weekend.
You too.
All right, before we sign off here, just want to encourage everybody to head out to YouTube and search for Assisting Hands Richmond. We put a lot of good video content out there, including these Friday finishes. I'll probably upload this one either later today or tomorrow, and then as well as our dementia workshops that I mentioned earlier. The previous 6 are already out there, and so feel free to go out there and just make sure you subscribe and then hit the bell icon so you can be notified when I do add new stuff. And that's it. And have a great weekend, everybody. This has been Assisting Hands Friday Finish, where we're helping you remain happy and at home. Have a great weekend.